I'm on Jane and Finch this Friday early evening in Toronto. And Jane and Finch has a reputation in this city for high youth crime, poverty, and a lot of new immigrants. But tonight I am going to be walking around the Jane Finch neighborhood to see what this neighborhood is all about. This is, in fact, my first time ever stopping at Jane and Finch. I have cut through this neighborhood, but I've never gotten off the bus. And now they have a new Finch LRT line to this community. This community is well known for its high-rise buildings, its Toronto community housing, and its high density population, which encompasses a lot of ethnicities. And Jane and Finch really grew between 1961 and 1971. When the area went from about 1,800 people to over 30,000 people. And in the 1960s, Toronto Community Housing decided to build units in this neighborhood . But what they didn't have outside of dwellings was a social infrastructure. So a lot of folks were moved out to this neighborhood, but didn't have the social and community structure that they needed such that they would thrive. So this area is well known in terms of gangs and crime and disenfranchised youths. And right here, guys, is the Jane Finch Mall. And I am going to go into the Jane Finch Mall and have a look around. On this April 17th, really pleasant evening in Toronto. This is quite a large mall. Now, I've heard a lot about Jane and Finch in my 50 years in this city, but I figure the people are generally the same. anywhere you are in Toronto, and it's unfortunate that the Jane Finch neighborhood has such a notorious reputation. And in 2007, in order to improve the reputation and the stigma attached to this neighborhood, they did change the neighborhood name to Universal Heights, but they still were unable to get away from the stigma that has been attached since the 1960s as I walk through the Jane Finch Mall. They've got a lot of retail. I wonder how much they are. About this. Actually, that's pretty pricey for a pair of jeans. Almost $40. That's a bit pricey, guys. Even for my taste, you got a toy store there. Somewhat of a food sit-down area from the Dragon Walk. And there's another odd arrangement here. They've got another sit-down area here. A couple of food stalls there. Some Mona's Jerk. So you're not finding big name retailers in here. I'm gonna go this way. Oh, they got a hair salon in there. Very busy for the hair salon. They actually got two hair salons side by side there. So they've got a lot of retail here, though. Surprising to see this much retail going on, given that a lot of malls are taking a hit in terms of bringing folks inside to shop. So let's go back outside. And oh, they even have a medical clinic in here too. So let's head back outside and have a walk around this neighborhood known as Jane and Finch. Tim Hortons is hopping tonight. I'm gonna head out this door here. Cut back through the parking lot and head back to the sidewalk, which is south of the intersection. You got a lot of high rises in this section of Toronto. I do notice a lot when I got off the bus from Jane Station. I do notice a lot of folks kind of just sitting around. I don't know what they're doing over there, but perhaps they're selling stuff over there on the corner. Now, I am going to use the lights in this area to cross the street, if only... I see a lot of folks jaywalking, though. And you know how much I like to jaywalk, but I'm not familiar with this area. And the road seems a bit wide for my taste. So let's head back to the corner of Jane and Finch. Looks like people are selling stuff out of their trucks over there or something. Something going down over there. And there is the new Finch line cutting across Finch Avenue, which could really help this neighborhood in terms of being able to commute and feel more a part of the greater Toronto area. Because one of the massive flaws when they first created this neighborhood was that it was isolated from resources and the city. So this can only help this neighborhood by having a new rapid transit line, even though they still need to work on its speed and efficiency. A gas station there. I want to kind of have a look at this truck here. Let's see. Perhaps they're selling something there. Clothing out of this truck here. Is my impression. It's a t-shirt sale, guys. It's a t-shirt sale. Right out of the truck. And you got someone else. Well, perhaps it's the same guy. Walking through another outdoor plaza here. So folks in this neighborhood have a lot of choices in terms of restaurants. And I will get back out on Finch. I think I'm gonna walk north on Jane. And I know when the neighborhood is brought up in passing, a lot of people are like, oh, I'll never go to Jane and Finch, no way. And I myself, I haven't avoided Jane and Finch. I've never really had a reason to head out this way. So that's basically why I've never stopped in this neighborhood. But since I started doing content on this platform, I've been introduced to more and more neighborhoods in the city that I have never been to. And let's have a look at these apartment buildings here, shall we? Looks like they have a community garden here. And a basketball court. I don't know how close I can get here, guys. I think I might actually take this route. If only I see a number of people standing around, and I don't want people feeling like I'm stepping on their toes. But they do have a community garden here. Got somebody playing their music on that chair. Lots of people just sitting around, hanging around. Some more buildings. Kids on the court. I'm gonna go back down the hill. One last look at this building. And I'm gonna get back down this. Wow. So now I am walking north on Jane Street. Lots of people hanging around. You can see over there. So outside of malls and residential buildings, there really isn't much that would bring me out this way. There is the Yorkgate Mall. As I continue walking north here, a lot of barren land, but I think it's because of the hydro poles there. The sidewalks are definitely not in good shape. I'm gonna go around the back of this building. This is the Huron-Wendat Trail. And the indigenous people were the first to arrive in the Jane and Finch neighborhood. But generally, this neighborhood does not appeal to some people because of its reputation in terms of crime and poverty. And a lot of the homes... What is that over there? A lot of the homes in this neighborhood are not as expensive as homes closer to the downtown core of Toronto. And the rents out this way are also more affordable than in the core of Toronto. I'm gonna make a right turn here. There's a lot of bungalows along this side street here. But I definitely could see this part of Toronto, the Jane Finch neighborhood, being quite isolated. And it took me near 45 minutes via the bus from Jane subway station at Jane and Bloor to get out here. So it's definitely not a stone's throw. Definitely looks as though the infrastructure out this way is really rough. Definitely wouldn't want to be driving on these roads. They do have tennis courts, though. Let's have a look at that. I don't know what the going rate is for units out this way. I think this is the back of the community center here, or daycare, right adjacent to the corner of Jane and Finch. And the airport is close by, so if you reside in this neighborhood or visit, there will be a lot of planes flying by, is what I've noticed. I'm gonna go down this hill. So there you have it, folks. A quick walk around the corner of Jane and Finch in Toronto, Canada.